Good evening. Tonight on the Capitol Report, the United States is letting South Korea know that protection comes with expectations. With the reduction of military exercises with South Korea is signaling to America's adversaries.
We have 39,000 soldiers over there guarding you from Kim Jong-un, your next-door neighbor, and you're not going to help us on a very easy military operation in Iran?
And joining us now to discuss the recent drill reduction with South Korea is John Sitlidis, Senior Fellow for Global Risks at the Center for the National Interest. John, great to have you back with us. President Trump says what he's doing is making things safer ultimately. What is President Trump's strategy here when it comes to North Korea and the South?
I think what's happening right now is he's trying to attain some measure of regional quiet, calm. Historically, I mean, keep in mind, Steve, that these exercises between the U.S., South Korea, and other allies have been ongoing for maybe 3 decades. So they're a regular annual occurrence. But I think right now, especially with the USS aircraft carrier George Washington leaving the East Asian, the Indo-Pacific region for the Persian Gulf to relieve the Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, I think what President Trump is looking for, hoping for, is some measure of relative quiet so that we don't have the usual sturm and drang from Kim Jong-un, from the North Korean regime, denouncing militarism and expressing anger against the U.S. and South Korea, and then firing missiles across South Korea towards Japan and the like. I think these are some of the concerns that are playing out more than anything else right now. Whether we will have that quiet from Kim Jong-un depends totally on Pyongyang. But my sense is that's what President Trump is seeking more than anything else. And then, as your reporter announced, there is the reciprocity issue, which is being played out against South Korea, just the way President Trump played that hand against our NATO allies in the Persian Gulf.
And John, I mean, obviously North Korea, nuclear armed, close allies, even, as of recent times with Russia and, of course, China. The president also cited South Korean president's his unwillingness to help with Operation Epic Fury. Let's take a look.
He said, no, thanks. And I said, wait a minute, we have 39,000 soldiers over there guarding you from Kim Jong-un, your next-door neighbor, and you're not going to help us on a very easy military operation in Iran? That's strange. No, we'd rather not get involved. I say, well, why are we involved in helping you?
John, how do you think Beijing is sort of watching and interpreting the president's relationship, which, as the president put it, is much better than any other previous president when it comes to Kim Jong-un?
Well, let's keep in mind that China is always happy whenever there's any wedge or seeming wedge between the U.S. and any of China's neighbors, any of our Eastern Asian allies. So whether it's South Korea, in this case, Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, Indonesia, anytime there's a wedge, whether China drives it, the Communist Party, or President Trump by his own sort of unorthodox diplomatic style, the Chinese are happy to pocket that sort of tactical victory. I don't think there's anything serious taking place here right now. The Chinese know that this is just a diminution of the exercise capacity of the U.S. and South Korea, Steve, but we still have, as the president mentioned, nearly 40,000 troops in South Korea, 40 to 50,000 troops in Japan. We have nuclear submarines roaming throughout the South China Sea, the East China Sea, and the Indo-Pacific region. There's no let-up overall in terms of the strategic support and the security umbrella that the U.S. is providing for all of our East Asian allies. But there is the diplomatic pause that I think is causing some concern, understandably and so. And then again, President Trump doesn't want anything to be disrupting what he hopes to be a very successful visit by General Secretary Xi, or Communist Party Chairman Xi, when he comes to the United States next month.
Still a lot of questions around that trip, according to reports coming out of the South China Morning Post and a lot of, China experts in terms of what that trip is shaping up to become, if it even will happen. Speaking of which, President Trump recently threatened to bomb Oman if it gets in the way as the country takes part in separate negotiations with Iran. In what way could Oman obstruct U.S. interests in that region or movement through the Strait of Hormuz? And how significant is the president's direct warning to the state of Oman?
Again, we use recent historical precedents here, Steve. If you recall back in Trump 45, when he threatened fire and fury, the likes of which the world has never seen against North Korea, and then several months or several years later, stepped into North Korean territory, unprecedented for an American president, without receiving anything back except hoping for an opening with the North Koreans. With Oman, you could have this kind of bombastic diplomatic rhetoric, but I think what's happening here is far more substantive concern-wise, and that is that Oman never become a partner with Iran in imposing any type of a toll or fee or whatever one wants to call it on international shipping through a free and open waterway. And so anything that Oman does to partner with Iran, to give Iran encouragement, to impose a fee or to obstruct the free and open shipping, I think is going to be a red line for Oman, that the president is threatening Oman, I think, very seriously. I don't think he'll bomb the whatever out of them, but I think there will be extraordinarily serious repercussions if they partner with Iran to effectively impose a toll and set a very dangerous precedent, whether in the South China Sea, the Taiwan Strait, the Suez Canal, obviously the Bab al-Mandab, and so many other critical strategic choke points around the world.
John Sitlidis, as always, greatly appreciate your perspective. Thank you.